First, we head to D.C. The House expected to vote today on the Laken Riley Act. This bill is named after Laken, a nursing student who was murdered last year while she was out on a run on the University of Georgia's campus. Jose Ibarra, who was in the country illegally at the time, was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of a parole. He had previously been arrested on theft charges. Stephen Neukam joins us now, congressional reporter for Axios. So this Laken Riley Act, tell us what exactly it entails and its chances of getting through Congress.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, it has a good chance of getting through the House today. I think that that's a surefire thing. And it essentially allows, demands that the Department of Homeland Security, the federal government, detain any document who or immigrant who is here in an undocumented manner, detain them if they have been arrested for burglary or violent crimes. And obviously, if that had happened in the Laken Riley case beforehand, she probably would still be alive. So I think that is obviously the bill takes a lot of inspiration from this. This is something that Republicans pushed pretty heavily on the campaign trail and before the election last year. And this is really the first thing that they're going to do now that they're in control of Congress, starting today in the House and then most likely pass the Senate later this week.
What about Democratic support for this, Stephen? I know you've talked to some Democratic lawmakers. What are they saying about this bill?
Yeah, it's going to get Democratic support. I think that in the House that is going to happen. And also in the Senate, we know of at least a number of swing state Senate Democrats who told us that they plan to vote for this bill. The calculus is different. There was a lot of times last year before the election where Senate Democrats and Senate Democratic leadership sort of did everything they could to not have this bill come to the floor, not put some of their vulnerable members in a tough position of voting for or against this bill. But the politics of the day are different. Trump has won the election. Republicans have a trifecta on Capitol Hill, essentially a mandate, and Democrats need to sort of come back to the table with voters on things like immigration, about the border, about the economy. And I think this is one of the things where you'll see Democrats support the Republican agenda.
Yeah, maybe a sign of some cooperation. You spoke with Senator Jon Ossoff from Laken Riley's home state of Georgia. What did he tell you about not just this act, but the impact her death has had on his constituents in his state?
Obviously, a huge impact. He has said that, he's not concrete on this bill. He didn't give us an answer on whether he would support it or not. He said he would consider legislation as it comes to the Senate floor. But he's up in 2026. In 2 years, he has perhaps the most difficult Senate race on the map for Senate Democrats and of any senator really across the map. And this is obviously one that hits home for him and has a lot of visibility in his home state. So while he didn't give us confirmation, I would expect him to support this bill.
Finally, this is the first of many immigration discussions that will be happening in Washington. How this goes and how smoothly the process is, how much does that become an indicator of what we have to look forward to?
It'll be a good indicator of the Democrats that Republicans might be able to poach on bigger border bills. This is sort of the low-hanging fruit, not in a disrespectful way, but this is something that that they feel like they can easily get some Democratic support for this bill. And the names that you see come across the aisle, I think Republicans are going to keep in mind. Okay, this is somebody that when we work on legislation about the border wall, or we do they want to do a border bill through reconciliation. Those are some of the Democrats that they may have to count on to get votes in the House and in the Senate.
Yeah, certainly helping all of us read those tea leaves. Stephen Neukam, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.